Well, hey everybody, I'm John Ritlin with a retro review of TNA Bound for Glory 2009, a pay-per-view that I rather enjoyed, along with a lot of other pay-per-views from like '04 to '09, and even some in the Hogan era. But especially for that 5-year period, Impact Wrestling was hitting so many high marks. They were doing so goddamn well, even with Vince Russo writing a whole lot of bullshit that he did, during sometime in that 5-year period. The talents were still shining. The matches were really, really good. The pay-per-views were really good. The TV was really good. I was enjoying it a lot more than WWE. And this was also the last pay-per-view before Hulk Hogan came in. That was not good. Dixie Carter was not smart to bring in Hogan. Not at all. It did not end up working out very well for Impact Wrestling, unfortunately. And it was just kind of scorched earth at the end. Now they're rebuilding, they're working hard and everything, and I wish the new administration, I wish the people that have been working hard, talents, and people behind the scenes included, nothing but the best. But looking back at a show 10 years ago, let's see which stuff was good and let's see which stuff wasn't. We had the old school Cross the Line intro. That was really, really cool. TNA Wrestling, Cross the Line. I can't do that voiceover very well. But then a cool video package highlighting the matches. And then we get Zakk Wylde of Black Label Society fame playing the national anthem on his guitar. That was some pretty cool stuff. Then we get an Ultimate X match for the X Division Championship. Amazing Red defending his championship against the Motor City Machine Guns, who won a qualifying match against Lethal Consequences on the pre-show because Pope D'Angelo Dinero had to be called away due to, I believe, a family emergency. So he could not be part of this. So they're like, hey, let's put a hot tag team in there. So they did that. And then they had Daniels in there. Not Christopher Daniels, but just Daniels. And then Homicide, and then Suicide. And Suicide was played by Kazarian, which is funny because Daniels actually played the Suicide character when Kazarian was injured. The Suicide character, by the way, was shit. It was from a video game. It was shit. It was just bad. It was just ridiculous. It would have been ridiculous no matter what company it was in, by the way. Nothing against the people that played him. But anyway, there were dives aplenty here, and a whole lot of, stuff of people falling off the structure. And if you don't know what an Ultimate X match is, basically they take posts, take big posts, put ring cables, facing an X, and they put the title in the middle, and then you got to shimmy across that and everything, get the title, and then some people take some scary bumps off of their really scary goddamn match. In this one, and in other ones before and since, they had put like a metal X, like a scaffolding thing where like people could do more shit and more dives off of it, and it kind of looked a little unsturdy, so it looked a little bit scary. But with this, it was a car crash match, easy for me to say. And there were falls off the ropes, the cables, some scary bumps. Everybody's spamming their moves and everything at one point, just a sequence for a few minutes. So I hit my big move. Oh wait, then I get hit by somebody else's big move. Yada yada. There was a scary bump where Daniels and Suicide were on the metal truss and then dropped through because there were holes in it, and dropped through on top of the ropes, where the X was, where the title was, and they were going to do this flatliner. The problem is they had about that much space. Well, I mean, it wasn't that much. It seemed like it was that much space. So they did that, and then they took a scary bump. Daniel's laying on his goddamn head, seemingly. I don't know how the hell neither guy didn't break their neck, so that was scary. But then Amazing Red ends up winning. So it was a good match. It was a good opener. The X Division kicking off, the TNA version of basically, or the equivalent of Starrcade and WrestleMania. This is a good way to kick it off. And then we had Taz and Tenay kill time while the Ring Crew took down the X's and that kind of stuff. And that was pretty funny. Well, they cleaned up stuff and everything. They cleaned up a whole bunch of stuff. And then the Beautiful People, which were Madison Rayne, carrying Velvet Sky, and Lacey Von Erich. And bless Lacey Von Erich for trying, but she should have never been in wrestling at all. I get why, but she just should have never been in there. She got out of it. Good for her. And then we had Velvet Sky, who I've never really cared for at all. I haven't. I mean, Madison Rayne at least cut a good promo here. They were going to face the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions, Taylor Wilde and Sarita. Taylor Wilde deserved a whole lot better in her run, in my personal opinion. Sarita was also good. And then the match happened. This was basically Lacey Von Erich kissing one referee to stay at ringside and then kissing Earl Hebner when he didn't understand what was going on. And no, that's not an old joke. Earl Hebner's like, even to the referee, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then Lacey kisses Earl Hebner, but he still kicks her out. That's basically what they were using Lacey Von Erich as. It's just eye candy. The match was shit. And nothing against Taylor Wilde or Sarita, nothing against Madison Rayne, and playing against Velvet Sky, because she should have never been in the fucking ring. But the match was like 3 minutes. I think under 3 minutes. And Taylor Wilde and Sarita retained. Cool, whatever. And then we get Eric Young and Hernandez and Kevin Nash in a three-way for the TNA Legends Championship, which would later become the TNA Television Championship. This is basically building up. Remember World Elite? Remember that? Remember when they turned Eric Young from a comedy character into a serious character, and you had like the British Invasion and a few people and that kind of stuff, Homicide and everybody, nations coming together in this faction because TNA at this time, well, especially Russo, loved factions. Boy, did he ever love factions. So anyway, Eric Young had made a deal with Kevin Nash, who was part of the Main Event Mafia. And the Main Event Mafia, I think, was pretty much done after this point, which is a real shame. Because they were that was a great faction. That was great stuff. He had made a deal with Kevin Nash because Kurt Angle said, well, hey, I'm tired of fighting with the World Elite. Anybody who takes out Eric Young gets $30,000. Eric Young says, Nash, I'll double it. Because I know you're all about the money. And let's take out Hernandez, because Eric Young had tried to recruit Hernandez to World Elite. Are you following me so far? Because this is about what I remember and how convoluted the story was. It wasn't actually that convoluted, but it's just the way they did the video package. So anyway, Nash should have not been in the ring at this point. He shouldn't have. He did some bumps. By the way, Nash was the current Legends champion. I believe he'd beaten Mick Foley for it. And yeah, not good. Not good at all. He either beat Foley or Styles for it. I don't remember actually who. The Legends Championship kind of is a little bit, muddy to me. But basically the idea is it was a numbers game, and Hernandez kept fighting back against the numbers. And at one point, looked like Nash was going to get the jackknife on Hernandez, which probably would have killed Nash at that point. I don't think he would have been able to hit it on a big guy like that. But Young shoves Hernandez into Nash's balls. Of course, Nash tears his quad. He didn't. But Eric Young covers Kevin Nash 1, 2, 3. He screws him over. Actually, speaking of which, speaking of something that rhymes with Nash, a big gash happened on Eric Young's head, on the back of his head. That was a little scary, and he's holding the championship. He won, and he screwed over Nash. So yeah, that happened. Then we get the three heel teams that are in the Full Metal Mayhem match. British Invasion, which was Magnus and Douglas Williams. Beer Money, James Storm, and Robert Roode. And then also Scott Steiner and Booker T representing the Main Event Mafia. They were like, having a pull apart brawl, and the British Invasion are even like, hey, wait, let's focus, take out Team 3D, and then all three of us can take out each other and see which, or if the best team wins. So we get Team 3D, British Invasion, Booker and Scott Steiner, and Beer Money, Full Metal Mayhem match for the IWGP and the TNA Tag Team Championships. And the idea here is they actually still had the metal truss up. They'd actually, I think they just left that up all in general. So I don't know why they killed time for 7 goddamn minutes, maybe just to take the extra ropes down. But they hung the titles up from the metal truss and everything. So this was just another car crash thing. They had the tables, the ladders, the chairs, which is something Doug Williams referred to, says Team 3D popularized the match with tables, ladders, and chairs, and had this match at the Astrodome. Good job. Good job being subtle there. And I'm not saying Williams, I'm talking whoever wrote that line. But it was a wild brawl. Steiner just went nuts at one point. Suplexing Frankensteiner and people, if that's even a word. Booker T at one point got taken out by the DWI, drinking while investing. He got taken out, and he was hurt. Now, he might have actually been hurt. I think it was just a way to write him off, because he wasn't on Impact Wrestling TV after this. His contract was up. That was it. And there was no more. There was no more Booker T, which is fine. Scott Steiner just ended up, taking out everybody. We had some table spots, some chair spots. Rhino runs in and attacks Team 3D. But Devon captures the IWGP Tag Team Championship, which is a good thing, because I think the British Invasion were actually the champions. And I don't think New Japan was too happy about that. They like Team 3D. They didn't really have a working relationship with British Invasion, or so I remember hearing. We get more brawling, and then Rob Terry attacks Bobby Roode, press slamming him through a table, sort of. Roode kind of almost missed the table because Terry threw him a little too far. But then Terry puts, Rob Terry, the big old guy, puts Williams on his shoulders, puts him up there, and takes him up the ladder, and he grabs the TNA Tag Team Championship. So good match. This was actually something that brought the crowd back into it. And then we get ODB, Tara, and Awesome Kong, 3-way for the TNA Knockouts Championship. Does that sound good? It sounds good. Unfortunately, it got messy. It got pretty goddamn messy, because you had Kong using some power moves, Tara and ODB tangling, and then this weird angle where it looked like a fan attacked Tara. I think it was Randy Couture's daughter, if I recall correctly, and they were going to build some kind of angle. But it was just really awkward. And Tara's like, what the hell is going on? She walks backstage, but then comes back out a couple minutes later. The crowd died right here. They totally fucking died. She got taken out a little bit later. Raisha Saeed, who I believe is cheerleader Melissa, who was the manager of Awesome Kong at the time, slides a chair in. Kong's like, no, I don't want to use the chair. Kicks it back out. Saeed ends up sliding it in. ODB hits a variation of a face buster. 1, 2, 3. And Raisha Saeed is all upset, all scared and everything because Awesome Kong's mad and you don't want to make Awesome Kong mad. New champion, ODB. And then Lashley and Samoa Joe. MMA versus TNA, a submission match. This was shit. This was not good. One, the crowd wanted Joe to win. And the crowd was not happy whenever Lashley was on the offense. And I think they wanted to push Lashley as a babyface. Wasn't working. Nothing against Lashley. He would have a much better run during his second time in Impact Wrestling. But yeah, the finish pissed off everybody because Lashley got like some kind of clutch. And Joe seemed like he passed out, so the referee called for the bell right there. And the fans were pissed. Because it didn't even seem like Joe was in the move all that long, went limp for a second. But then was like all pissed off afterwards. The fans were pissed off. Lashley won. Not a good match at all. And then we get Abyss versus Mick Foley with Stevie Richards as a referee. It's a Monsters Ball match, and Mick Foley attacks during Abyss's entrance. This was a car wreck, and really outside of like one match, or one spot in the match, actually, this was fine. There was a fall through the stage. Abyss does this burst up through the stage, which was kind of cool. There were some cool weapon spots and everything. And of course, you're playing out the whole Abyss Stevie Richards thing, like from Lockdown 2009 on, to now. There was a horribly botched taser 3-count spot. Dear God, that was really, really bad. Abyss does end up winning, as you would expect him to win. I mean, even through all the shenanigans and all the bullshit and stuff like that. And Foley did put him over, but it was so convoluted. That taser spot and that botched 3-count just really ruined a lot of things. And then we get Angle versus Matt Morgan. It was well wrestled. There were some good spots and everything. Angle having to work down the younger, taller guy. And Matt Morgan using his youth. And Matt Morgan should have won here. Matt Morgan did not win here. And that is really the unfortunate thing. It's kind of like Bound for Glory 2011, where Matt should have won. And the fact that he didn't was kind of bullshit. And I kind of actually hated it. But it was what it was. It served its purpose. It was a good match. Do not get me wrong, but this is when I was starting to have some issues with them pushing some younger talent. Who knows if Matt Morgan would have been a proper main eventer. But you're never going to know if you don't pull the goddamn trigger, and they didn't on this, and it was what it was. Match was good, though. And then we get Sting versus AJ Styles, TNA World Title. Sting's curtain call. Well, it wasn't his curtain call. He actually would come back a number of months later as a heel, because everybody wanted to boo Sting. Fuck. Anyway, that aside, this was actually pretty good. Sting put over Styles strong. He did get his shit in, but did put over Styles strong. Did a bit of an odd finish where it's like there was a kick and then Sting kind of stumbled and then AJ got the pin after a dive off the ropes. Bit of a weird finish, but it was what it was, and it served its purpose. And it was like, okay, the fans were thanking Sting and everything, And I mean, I remember actually being on social media at the time. And seeing the people were thanking Sting even before wrestling Twitter really got into the forefront. It was really nice, and if that had been Sting's last match, or at least his last Impact Wrestling match, that would have been something. But still, the match was what it was. It was pretty good. So overall, I enjoyed the show. There was some bullshit, but a lot of the show does hold up. Some of the show doesn't. And that's really all I have to say about that. So, do you agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritland, and I'll see you soon.